Hey everyone, and welcome! I've always been fascinated by the ancient world. Not just the pyramids of Egypt or the Great Wall of China, but the intricate connections between different civilizations. When we think of ancient India, we often picture bustling bazaars, majestic kings, and spiritual gurus. And one of the most surprising and often overlooked connections is the one between ancient India, Greece, and Rome. We often think of these cultures as separate, but the truth is, they were far more intertwined than you might imagine. So buckle up, because today I'm going to share 8 things you probably didn't know about the presence of Greeks and Romans in ancient India. The Yavana Kingdom. Let's start with the Greeks. After Alexander the Great's whirlwind campaign, a number of Greek kingdoms sprung up in northwest India, collectively known as the Indo-Greek kingdoms. These weren't just small settlements. They were powerful, influential kingdoms that lasted for centuries. They minted their own coins, blended Greek and Indian artistic styles, and even played a significant role in the spread of Buddhism. Imagine Greek kings ruling over Indian territories, fostering a fascinating cultural exchange. It's not something you hear about every day, is it? Menander's conversion. Speaking of Buddhism, one of the most famous Indo-Greek kings was Menander, or Milinda in Pali. He's a major figure in Buddhist philosophy because he engaged in a series of philosophical debates with the Buddhist sage Nagasena. These debates are recorded in the Milinda Panha, a crucial Buddhist text. Ultimately, Menander converted to Buddhism and became a great patron of the faith. A Greek king, a Buddhist convert. Talk about a historical twist, the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. Now let's fast forward a bit and bring the Romans into the picture. We have this amazing document from the 1st century AD called the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. It's essentially a guide for merchants sailing the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean. And guess what? It provides detailed accounts of trade routes, ports, and even the goods that were traded between the Roman Empire and India. It mentions specific Indian cities, their rulers, and the products they exported like spices, precious stones, and textiles. It's like a window into the ancient global economy. Roman trade with India. The Periplus isn't just a document, it reflects a thriving trade. Romans were crazy about Indian goods. They imported vast quantities of spices like pepper, cinnamon, and cardamom, which were highly prized in Roman cuisine and medicine. They also imported precious stones, ivory, and fine textiles like muslin. In return, the Romans traded things like wine, olive oil, and glassware. Imagine Roman ships laden with Indian spices sailing back to Alexandria. It paints a vivid picture of this ancient exchange. Roman coins in India. The evidence of this trade isn't just textual. Archaeologists have unearthed Roman coins in various parts of India, particularly in the south. These coins, often found in hoards, are a testament to the scale of the Roman-Indian trade. They weren't just used for small transactions. They indicate a significant economic presence. It's like finding dollar bills in a historical site from a few centuries ago. It tells you something about the economic connections. Indian influence on Roman art. The influence wasn't just one way. While the Romans were importing Indian goods, Indian artistic and cultural ideas also made their way to the West. For instance, some scholars argue that certain motifs in Roman art, particularly those related to nature and fertility, might have been inspired by Indian traditions. It's a subtle influence, but it's there if you look closely. Indian scholars in Alexandria in Egypt, was a major center of learning in the ancient world, and it attracted scholars from all over, including India. We know that Indian philosophers and mathematicians traveled to Alexandria and shared their knowledge with their Greek and Roman counterparts. This exchange of ideas contributed to the development of both Eastern and Western thought. Imagine Indian mathematicians teaching their numerical systems to Roman scholars. It's a fascinating cross-pollination of knowledge. The spread of Buddhism to the West. While it's widely known that Buddhism spread eastwards, its influence also reached the West, thanks in part to the interactions between India, Greece, and Rome. The Indo-Greek kingdoms played a crucial role in this, and later, the trade routes facilitated the transmission of Buddhist ideas to the Roman world. While Buddhism didn't become a dominant religion in the West, its ethical principles and philosophical concepts did have some impact on Western thought. So there you have it. 8 surprising connections between ancient India, Greece, and Rome. It just goes to show that the ancient world wasn't as compartmentalized as we sometimes think. These civilizations were interconnected, exchanging goods, ideas, and cultural influences. It's a reminder that history is complex and fascinating, and there are always new things to discover. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and I hope you learned something new today. If you like this article, please like and subscribe my channel Stories and More, and share to others. Thanks for listening, and stay curious.